David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have a somewhat new pen from the Russian brand Benu, and that pen is called the Hexagon. What I'm going to do is go over the parts and features of the Hexagon, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. And stay tuned to learn how you can win this very pen, courtesy of Benu, who graciously provided this pen for review and to give away to one of you. The pen arrives in this cardboard box. Inside there is some use and care instructions. Then there is the pen in this little sleeve that sits on this bed of shredded paper. And inside the sleeve we have the pen. This is the Benu Hexagon. The distinguishing feature of the Hexagon are the hexagons. This pen is made from a molded plastic and has a hexagonal pattern across the cap and the barrel. I do find the overall shape of this pen to be very similar to the last pen from Benu I featured, the Parrot, but without all the parrot parts on it. This pen is available in 6 different varieties, and they don't have very descriptive names. Starting from the left, there is the Hexagon A, then there's the B, C, D, E, and then F, which is the model I have for you today. While I like some of the other colors, especially the purple and blue blend on the Hexagon D, I'm just not a huge fan of the gold flaky look. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just a bit outside my personal taste, which is why I had Benu send me the model F, which is the only one without those flakes. I feel that this model will have more of a consistent look between pens, but the glittery models will have a great deal of variance in looks. For those, I think no two pens are really going to look exactly alike, which is interesting. Let's start by taking a closer look at the end of the cap. On the end of the cap, basically the sparkles are more prominent than on the main portion of the cap and the barrel, and I like that. When it catches the light, it looks really cool, but not like in a rainbow unicorn kind of way. Not that there's anything wrong with rainbow unicorns. I do like that the hexagon design stops before the end of the cap, rather than the pattern kind of getting cut off by the end of the pen. The cap angles up and the pen is clipless. While there isn't a traditional roll stop, this portion here, I'll call it a cap band, even though it's kind of a separate piece, has a hexagonal shape. On one of the sides, it's actually imprinted with the brand name Benu. The 6 facets of this band aren't straight, they're a bit indented, which really serves to give you a solid grip when capping and uncapping the pen. There is a small step down to an ink window, which transitions to the barrel, which angles down at a fairly consistent angle until you have the end of the barrel, which, like the end of the cap, has a higher amount of sparkle. The cap twists off, and underneath you have a medium steel Schmidt FH241 nib, which is essentially like a size 4 nib. While I typically prefer a number 6 nib, I feel that this size is more appropriate in relation to the overall size of the pen. For the hexagon, a larger nib wouldn't quite look right. You'll see in the writing sample, but I find this Schmidt nib to be very good. It's very smooth and very pleasant to write with. And then here's a look at the plastic feed. The hexagon does have a rather thin section. It's slightly flared at the end and then angles up just a little bit, transitioning into the cap threads, which I don't find to be sharp. When using this pen, my thumb really rests directly on the threads and I don't experience any discomfort. The section is a red translucent plastic. It's the same material as this kind of pseudo cap band, and it allows you to see some of the inner workings of this pen. And as you saw earlier, this portion right here can act as a subtle ink window, which is nice. The Hexagon is a cartridge converter pen. A standard international converter is included. And since all of the parts of this pen are plastic, it would be possible for you to eyedropper this if you so wish. Even though the section is a bit thin, I do find this pen to be comfortable in my hand, and I really like the feeling of the hexagonal pattern on my hand. The cap does post, and it does post deeply and securely, and that I find that the cap is a bit on the light side, and it's light enough that it doesn't throw off the balance of this pen. And having the cap band here a bit rounded helps not feel sharp or jagged against your hand. So this is a pen that I feel you could easily use posted or unposted. The Benu Hexagon retails for $90. And I feel that that's actually a fair price for this pen. Anything over $100 would have been a little excessive in my opinion. And while the pen is made from a plastic resin, it has the feel of a more quality resin as opposed to one that feels cheap or poorly made. It has an interesting look and feel to the pen as well. Most of the models are going to have one-of-a-kind looks in regard to the highlights of the material, and the writing experience is very, very good. So the Hexagon has a lot going for it. Thanks again go out to Benu for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. Speaking of the giveaway, I don't really want to give this one away. This has really grown on me, but since I said I would, I guess I must. If you would care to win this very pen, all you need to do is be a subscriber to my channel and leave a comment here on YouTube. Or if you're a Patreon supporter, you can alternately leave your entry comment there. In regard to a comment, in my Q&A from a few days ago, I mentioned some of my favorite non-fountain pen YouTube channels. So why don't you let me know some of your favorite non-pen channels? I'm always on the lookout for a cool new channel to check out, and I'd be interested to see what you enjoy. The comment is just a suggestion and not required. Today is Saturday, February 2nd, 2018, and you have until end of day on Tuesday, the 5th of February to enter. Good luck. Okay, now it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Benu Hexagon. Before we even get started, I just wanted to give some other shots of how you can see the sparkles at the end of the pen. And under the light, I know it's hard to see, but there are the sparkles that are dispersed throughout the entire body. But I'm especially liking the ones at the end of this pen. I think they're kind of cool and a little bit on the subtle side. But here we go with some size comparisons. Here it is with a Pilot Metro. Here it is with a Pilot Prera. And then here it is with a Kaweco Skyline Sport. And in regard to some other pens, here it is with a new Pilot Explorer. And this is the 1911 large sea glass. And then finally, this is a brand new pen from Laban, which is called the Forest. They had the Ocean model that I reviewed a couple of months ago, and this is a brand new one that's just about to hit the market, and you'll see a review of this in a couple of weeks. But this is what it looks like in comparison to the Benu. So here we go with the writing sample for the Benu Hexagon. And this is a medium steel nib, and the ink that I'm using today is Levenger Pomegranate. This is what the ink looks like. This is an ink that I'm fond of, and I thought it matched well with kind of the darker red of this section. This is what it looks like in regard to kind of more of a deeper red, like a Diamine Red Dragon, or even something like the Mont Blanc William Shakespeare Velvet Red. It's just a little bit of a deeper red than that, a little more of a black red, so to speak, for the Levenger Pomegranate. These are the bottles that it comes in, and these are nice bottles. I think they're unique looking, and that Levenger makes some decent inks. And so here we go with the rest of the writing sample. that, as I mentioned previously, this steel nib is very smooth. And I find that it has minimal feedback. You're not going to get tons of line variation out of here, but you are going to have some decent ink flow with this particular pen. In regard to some reverse writing, it's fairly smooth. In regard to some fast writing, I've never had any issues with the feed keeping up here. So here we go. This is the Benu Hexagon. I think it's an interesting new pen to their lineup, and one that I really care for. Like I said, that I'm going to be sad to see this one go, and I have a feeling that whoever's going to win this pen is going to enjoy it immensely. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.